Ever catch yourself, like, daydreaming about a world where everything's perfect, everyone's happy, no problems, everything just runs smoothly?
Like a utopia.
Exactly.
A utopia.
Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into a world that takes that idea to the extreme.
Yeah.
We're talking about the world state from Aldous Huxley's Brave New World.
Classic.
Right. Now, if it's been a minute since you cracked open this book, no worries. We're treating the information within the world state as, like, factual.
Our own little thought experiment.
Yeah, but with really high stakes. So one of the things that makes this world so different, so immediately striking, is how they handle, well, you know,
Birth.
yeah, birth. They've completely abandoned natural birth.
Out with the old, in with the new. They've got these massive hatcheries where babies are created and grown in these artificial wombs, rows and rows of them.
It's like a factory for life.
Well, they'd say it's all very scientific, very efficient.
Efficient, definitely. But it makes you wonder, doesn't it, about the implications. And they take this control even further, don't they?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they have this process, Bokanovsky's process, where they can take a single fertilized egg.
Wait, so like cloning?
Kinda, but more like mass producing. They can make dozens, even hundreds of identical embryos from one egg.
Hundreds. That's a lot of twins.
Talk about a built-in fan club, really.
Okay, that's both, like, super cool and kinda creepy at the same time.
Yeah.
But, they've thought of everything, even disease. The source material mentions that they inoculate future citizens while they're still embryos,
Yep. Still in their bottles. No pesky needles later. It's all about control, right? Making sure everything fits within their carefully crafted plan.
which brings us to the caste system.
Right, right. 5 castes, each one bred and conditioned for specific roles in society.
Alphas, betas, gammas, deltas, epsilons.
In that order, a perfectly stratified society.
It reminds me of, like, a high school cafeteria, you know? Everyone has their designated table.
Except in the world state, that table determines your entire life. And to make sure everyone stays happily in their assigned roles, they use hypnopedia.
Hypnopedia. Sounds like some kinda high-tech sleep gadget.
Not quite. Think of it like subliminal messaging, but on steroids. They play these recordings while people sleep, instilling beliefs, values, even consumer preferences.
So, like, brainwashing in your sleep.
In a way. But they see it as beneficial, shaping people for a harmonious society.
I guess if you control what people want, you control what they buy, what they do, who they are.
Exactly. And if any unpleasant emotions do bubble up, well, there's Soma for that.
Soma. That sounds kind of nice, actually. Like a spa day.
It's the perfect drug, at least according to the world state. Instant happiness, no hangovers, no side effects.
Sign me up.
Right. But it makes you wonder if everyone's always happy, always content, where's the conflict, the drama,
Yeah.
the stuff that makes life, well, life?
Like, is a world without any sadness even possible?
Yeah.
And if it is, do we really want that?
That's the question, isn't it? It's like they've engineered out all the bad stuff, but maybe, just maybe, they've lost something essential in the process, something deeply human.
Okay, that's a lot to unpack. We're talking about a world where birth is artificial, society is rigidly controlled, and happiness comes in a pill. You'd think everyone would be on board with this program, right?
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But even in this seemingly perfect world, there are cracks, people who don't quite fit in. Yeah, so that's where we meet Bernard Marx.
Bernard Marx. He sounds delightful.
Well, he's an alpha plus, top of the heap, really. But there's something off about him.
Off. Like he's got a secret stash of old Beatles records or something?
Not quite. It's more like he's uncomfortable with, the way things are. He's got this thing about the whole everyone belongs to everyone thing.
A romantic at heart.
Maybe, or maybe he's just wired differently. There's a rumor he was accidentally exposed to alcohol while he was still in his bottle. Stunted his growth a bit, they say.
So even in this world of perfect control, they have their little accidents.
Happens to the best of them, I guess. But Bernard, he's got this yearning for something more, something real, something human.
Isn't that ironic? In a world designed to make everyone happy, he's miserable.
It's the human condition, isn't it? Always wanting what we can't have. And Bernard's not alone. There's Helmholtz Watson.
Another tortured soul.
You could say that. He's an alpha plus, too. Brilliant mind, really. But he's got this creative energy that just can't be contained. He's a writer, see?
A writer. What's he writing? Hypnopedia scripts.
God, no. He's got bigger ideas than that. He wants to write something with, depth, something that makes people feel something.
But feelings are dangerous in the world state.
Exactly. They disrupt the order. And Helmholtz, well, he's starting to realize that maybe, just maybe, there's more to life than being a well oiled cog in the machine.
So we've got Bernard, the reluctant rebel,
Yeah.
and Helmholtz, the frustrated artist. What are they going to do? Start a revolution.
Well, they haven't quite gotten there yet, but they find solace in each other's company, a shared sense of alienation. They recognize something in each other that the others just don't get.
The Outsiders Club. Always room for one more.
Right. But then there's Lenina Crown. She's a beta, beautiful, of course.
The world state wouldn't have it any other way.
True. And she's a bit of an enigma, Lenina. On the one hand, she's a product of her environment, conditioned to believe in the world state's values. But there are these moments, these glimpses of something more beneath the surface. Like she's capable of feeling things, real things, but she's afraid to let herself go there.
She's got the weight of the world on her perfectly sculpted shoulders.
In a way, the source material mentions this inner conflict she has about staying with one man for too long.
Oh, right. Because relationships are strictly forbidden,
Right.
right?
Well, not forbidden exactly, more like discouraged. They're supposed to embrace promiscuity, you see. It's all about avoiding those messy emotional attachments.
No strings attached.
Yeah.
Just like ordering takeout.
Exactly. But Lenina, she seems to be questioning things, even if she doesn't realize it. And then, just when you think you've got this world figured out, the source introduces us to the savage reservation.
Wait, there's more? Another world outside the world state.
You could say that. It's a place untouched by the world state's advancements. A place where they still live like, well, how we live now. They've got families, religion, disease.
Sounds messy.
Oh, it is. But it's also real, raw.
Yeah.
And that's where we meet John the Savage.
The savage. Sounds ominous.
He's an interesting character, John. He was raised on the reservation by his mother, Linda, who's originally from the world state.
A refugee from paradise. Ironic, isn't it?
It is. But what makes John so different, so fascinating, is his exposure to literature, specifically Shakespeare.
Shakespeare. A little light reading for the savage.
Right. But for John, Shakespeare's plays are like a window into another world, a world of passion, of love, of tragedy, all the things that the world state has deemed too dangerous.
Too human. So we've got John, raised on Shakespeare in reality, suddenly thrust into this world of artificiality and control. What happens?
Well, at first he's intrigued. He's never seen anything like the world state before, the technology, the cleanliness, the endless distractions. But then,
Then reality sets in.
exactly, he starts to see the cracks in the facade. He sees their reliance on soma, their casual attitude towards sex, their lack of genuine emotion.
So he's like this innocent, right?
Yeah.
Thrown to the wolves of, well, not wolves exactly, but this really strange, shiny society.
It's a total culture clash. And that's where the real drama unfolds, you see. John's this walking, talking embodiment of everything the world state tried to eliminate. The rawness, the passion, the capacity for both great love and great suffering.
He's like a grenade rolled into a perfectly manicured garden.
That's one way to put it. And it's not long before things, well, explode. John tries to wake people up, make them see what they've given up. There's this powerful scene in the book. He's trying to stop this crowd from taking their daily soma ration. He sees it for what it is, right? A tool of control, a way to numb them into submission.
He's like, don't you people see? You're being manipulated.
Exactly, but they don't want to hear it. They're terrified of anything that disrupts their carefully constructed happiness.
And what about Bernard and Helmholtz? Are they right there with him, manning the barricades?
They try to support him in their own way. But it's tricky. Remember, there's still products of this world, too. And ultimately, John's little rebellion blows up in everyone's faces. Bernard gets ostracized, loses his status.
Ouch. That's gotta hurt.
It does. Shows you just how quickly the tides can turn in the world state. But there's this other really fascinating character we haven't talked about much. Mustafa Mond. He's the world controller, the big guy in charge.
The wizard behind the curtain.
Kinda, yeah. And he's got this whole philosophy about why the world state is set up the way it is.
Justifying a world without freedom. That's a tough sell.
Well, he makes a compelling case. He argues that happiness and freedom are basically incompatible. That if you want a stable society, a world without war or poverty or suffering, you have to give up something in return.
And that something is free will.
Exactly. And John, he gets it. He understands the trade-off, but he still rejects it. He argues that a life without pain, without struggle, is meaningless. He even quotes Shakespeare to Mond. Can you believe that?
Fighting fire with iambic pentameter. I like his style.
It's a powerful moment, but in the end, it's not enough. John's worldview is just too different, too alien to the people of the world state. Even Helmholtz, remember him, the writer, even he struggles to wrap his head around the raw emotion in something like Romeo and Juliet.
It's like they're emotionally stunted,
Hmm.
unable to process those complex feelings.
In a way, it's both sad and terrifying, isn't it? To think of a world where people are so conditioned that they can't even comprehend the things that make us human.
So what happens to John? Does he stage a dramatic escape? Lead a revolution?
He tries to find his own way, escapes to this abandoned lighthouse, tries to live a simple life, reconnect with the values of the reservation. He even tries to purify himself through pain. Can you imagine that?
Self-inflicted pain. That's intense.
It is. But it shows how desperate he is to feel something real in a world that feels so artificial.
So a happy ending. He finds peace.
I wish I could say yes. But this is Brave New World we're talking about. The world state, they don't leave him alone for long. He becomes this spectacle. People come to gawk at him, this savage who chose discomfort over their carefully curated happiness.
It's tragic, really. A cautionary tale about the dangers of sacrificing individuality in the name of comfort and security.
It makes you think, doesn't it, about the choices we make, the compromises we're willing to live with. And maybe, just maybe, it makes us appreciate the beauty and the messiness of our own world a little bit more, even with all its imperfections.
Well said. Well said. And that, my friends, is the world of Aldous Huxley's Brave New World. A chilling glimpse into a future that's both seductive and terrifying. And as always, it leaves us with more questions than answers. What do you think? Could you live in a world like the world state? What price are you willing to pay for happiness? Let us know your thoughts, and until next time, keep exploring those big questions.